Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're talking about two really exciting things for you. We're talking about number one, this brushless FLEX Impact Driver with quick eject mode, and two, stacked lithium batteries. Those things are not new. We're also going to be talking about these two together and the pair combination, see how it stacks up against other tools in the market. You do not want to miss that, so stick with us. All right, you guys, so this right here is the FLEX Quick-Eject Impact Driver, model number FX1371A. This is their flagship top-of-the-line model, okay? This right here is the 6 amp hour stacked lithium battery from FLEX. They do have other amp hour batteries, but right now you can kind of buy it as a combination with this, as this kit and other tools like that. So this combination is fairly new to market. Stacked lithium is fairly new. There's a few other companies that make them, you know, such like the water, whatnot. But like I said, there is some performance improvements with this. So without too much further ado, let's go look at the marketing hype before we take a better look at it. So this right here is a 24-volt brushless impact driver from FLEX. It lets you conquer fastening applications easily with power with the control of a 1/4-inch Quick-Eject Hex Impact Driver. It features over 2,500 inch-pounds of torque at 4,000 RPM for peak performance. Insert or release bits with one hand using the Quick-Eject Collet. Avoid over tightening, breaking, stripping, and optimized with optimized self-tapping screw modes. There are 2 modes. Enjoy total control with 3 speed modes. The impact driver dominates with the FLEX Stacked Lithium Advantage, unmatched battery power, runtime, charging capabilities, a bunch of other stuff, right? Some of the quick specs real quick. It goes up to 0 to 4,000 RPMs, 0 to 4,450 IPMs, and has a max torque of 2,500 inch-pounds, which converts to roughly around 282 Newton meters. It has a 1/4-inch collet, features quick eject. Interesting, they don't point out quick insert. It does not have quick insert, and the length of the tool is roughly around 4.7 inches, and they roughly say without the battery, the tool weighs at a whopping 2.7 pounds, right? And of course, as most people already know, right now, I think up until the end of 2022, if you do register the tool within about 30 days of purchase, you will get what they call the FLEX limited lifetime founder's warranty, which pretty much warranties everything that you buy from FLEX for a lifetime, right? So I mean, that's obviously something that they're using to drive people into the platform, so it's going to be pretty good. Hopefully not a lot of their tools are going to have to be warranted, because they haven't been around, I guess, long enough for people to actually make a bunch of warranty claims, figure out what their warranty process looks like. All right, so let's take a better look at it. All right, let's start here with the batteries real quick, since we are going to check out the batteries with the tool on the performance, right? So this right here is a standard 2.5 lithium battery. This right here is their 8 amp hour battery. These are both lithium battery, standard round cells, right? Then this right here is what they call their stacked lithium battery. Okay, if you want to compare the sizes, these pretty much have a bunch of small pouches, like rectangular pouches that are stacked on top of another. But the benefit to this is you're going to say, well, it's a little bit smaller, right? But if you take a look at it, this is 6 amp hours, but this is 8 amp hours, and height-wise, they're almost the same. The 8 may stick out just a little bit, right? But the main benefit to the pouch cells is that, like I said, they get to be a little bit more compact. But the difference with this one compared to some of the other ones that I've seen is that they have this thing called thermaltake heat management, which is something I kind of pointed out when stacked lithium first came out. Since there's a bunch of cells stacked on top of another, the middle cells in the middle, right, even the ones on the edges, right, top and bottom, are still going to get hot. I believe they tried to solve this with some type of cooling gel insert type thing. So we'll see how it stands up in the long term. But because of that cooling performance and technology that they kind of had to put into place, it doesn't necessarily get to be as compact as some of the other tools, right? If anything, you should really say the 6 and the 8 are pretty much almost exactly the same size, except maybe the 8 sticks out just a little bit more. So just keep that in mind. All right, so now let's take a look at this tool. It does come with the belt clip. I just don't have it on here because it got really annoying. But the belt clip you can put on the right or left side. It is interchangeable. Obviously, if you're looking at the tool, this is the left-hand side of the tool. It's got quick, anti-scarring or marring surfaces. All this black stuff here is rubber overmold. I don't think there's a single, piece on here that is not black, that is not rubber overmold, except for pretty standard things like, you know, your forward and reverse switch and stuff like that, okay? It's got emblems, it's gonna say brushless here, nothing out of the ordinary. This grip is pretty, what do you call it, flex centered. I guess if you use a lot of flex tools and you held this grip barehanded, you're gonna know that this is the flex tool, okay? One thing to point out, I do wanna point out in here, is that there is almost no slop in this variable speed trigger. So a lot of tools, when you put the, let's say forward or reverse switch in the middle to lock it out, right? You could kind of press the trigger in a little bit and it will, you know, stop it before it actually engages. But on this one, see how it's getting, there is absolutely no slop on this trigger. So that's something interesting to point out. That is a really, really tight tolerance there when they, you know, lock this in. So I just want to point out that that's actually interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that on any power tool before, but that's good to know. It looks like they have some very good attention to tolerances. Like I said, pretty standard here. It's gonna say 24 volts here, flex here. Back is pretty flat. It does have a lanyard fall rest type system in case you did want to put something on there. And then on the right side, you got pretty much exactly the same thing, except, you know, it's got other stickers and stuff like that. But other than that, that's just really going on. So on the front here, let's talk about the front. Let's stick this the 2.5 amp hour battery is almost dead. So let's stick this battery on here. And on the front here, it's got this light. Obviously, I haven't found a way to turn the light off yet, but I'm sure if you really wanted to turn it off, you probably could put tape over it or something like that. Not to say that you really should. Right here is the key feature to this impact driver. So this impact driver, what it pretty much does, or this button here, it actually pulls the collet forward so you can eject it, okay? You can also use your hand to pull it forward, right? But that's what this button here does. Check this out, okay? So they advertise it as a quick eject mode. So that's interesting because it technically is a quick eject mode, but it's not any, let's say, less steps than you normally would take. If anything, it actually requires more steps, right? So check this out. If you wanted to insert the tool, it is not quick, or it is not quick insert. It doesn't hold that collet open. You do have to hold the button and then put it in, right? And if you were to eject it, right, you have to hold this and then pull it out, okay? So if you hear something like quick eject, what you would really think is, you know, you press the button, it does it and it spits it out, but that's not necessarily the case. The benefit here is that you get to do this more easily. So in case you did have to, you know, for some reason you're, you know, drilling with this, right? And then you wanted to change the bit out to, you know, put it in right away, you don't really have to move as many fingers or hands to get that going, right? So let's say this is a bit, drilling, take it out, put another bit in, bam, right? So in the case of other tools that have, you know, quick inserts, right, you can technically, you know, just push this in like so without, you know, having to press this thing, and it would be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem, right? But in this case, it does do that. So I feel like they probably could make some improvements on this to make it even quicker, but it is nice. You know, there was one time when I was using this and I had to quick eject it or switch out the bits quick easily, and that worked pretty well. But I did want to point out that it is not like any faster or whatnot, right? Or at least in my opinion. Because like, for instance, if I did want to put it in, now I have to pull the collet forward and then put it in, or I could pull it out same way, one hand, right? So that's what's really going on with that. That's the main feature of this impact driver, besides it being like the flagship impact driver. Other than that, let's go down here. If you look at it, there's 3 settings, right? There's 2 buttons on here that actually you know, controls 2 different things. So this button right here on the left will automatically go, or not automatically, every time you press it will cycle through the ranges 1 to 3, 1 for being low, 3 for being high. And then the button right here on the right side, which is in white, is self-tapping mode. So the one with the smaller screw means it has a, you know, smaller threshold. As soon as the impact stops. If you're doing into like larger pieces of metal or thicker pieces of metal, you want it to go just a little bit more, right, before it stops by itself. That's what that does, right? So it'll automatically switch between 2. So instead of using like 1 button for all, they did put like 2 dedicated buttons for that. Other than that, that's what's really going on here. If you want to look at the bottom, there's not too much stuff going on here at the bottom, right? It's just like, you know, all plastic, no inserts or anything like that. So that's what's really going on there. So without too much further ado, let's get into testing, and then we'll go take a better look at the numbers. All right, y'all, so some of those numbers were really exciting. In case you couldn't tell, some of them just went by really fast. So let's go take a look at it, right? Let's start with the 2.5 amp hour battery in this tool. So the 2.5 amp hour battery in this tool, first combination, 8-inch Timberlock 4.7, second run 4.1, third run 3.77, average comes out to 4.19 seconds. The medium duty 5/16-inch lag test, first run 5.5 seconds, second run 5.78, third run 4.37 seconds, average comes out to 5.22 seconds. And on the 1/2 inch by 8-inch lag test, heavier duty lag test, first run, as you probably saw, it just didn't finish, it just kept going away at it, didn't finish. Second run, it just kept going away at it, and eventually it just like the battery thermaled out and it just did not finish, right? So the average of that one came out to did not finish, okay? So this impact driver and the 2.5 amp hour battery combination comes in weighing at a whopping 4 pounds, 0.8 ounces. So right around 4 pounds, okay? Let's go take a look at all the numbers before we go ahead and rank them on the leaderboard, okay? So then we moved on to the stacked lithium performance battery, right? So the stacked lithium, which, you know, a sticker says a whopping 1920 watt hours of power, right? Let's go take a look at what that did. So first run on the 8-inch Timberlock test, 2.75 seconds. Second run, 2.73 seconds. Third run, 2.02 seconds. Average comes out to 2.50 seconds. Medium duty 5/16 by 6-inch lag test, first run 2.35, second run 2.22, third run 1.72 seconds. Average comes out to 2.10 seconds. Well, that's a fast number there. Moving on to the heavy duty lag test, right? 1/2 inch by 8-inch lag. First run 10.1 seconds, second run 10.27 seconds, third run 10.65 seconds. Average comes out to 10.34 seconds, all right? So this combination right here, this tool and the stacked lithium 6 amp hour battery comes in weighing at a whopping 4 pounds, 15.4 ounces, okay? That's almost a whopping 5 pounds, all right? So keep that in mind. So let's go take a look. Do you guys think this 8 amp hour battery did better or worse than the 6 amp hour battery? Well, if you know, then great. If you don't, then let's go take a look at the numbers, right? So first run on the 8-inch Timberlock test, 2.67. Second run, 2.37. Third run, 3.02. Moving on to the medium duty lag test. First run, 2.58. Second run, 2.68. Third run, 2.70. Average comes out to 2.65 seconds. Moving on to the heavy duty 1/2 inch by 8-inch lag test. First run, 10.68. Second run, 12.85. Third run, 10.88. All right. The average comes out to 11.47 seconds. Okay. I want to make sure I said those numbers right. 10.68, 12.85, and 10.88, right? So this combination right here with this, you know, whopping 8 amp hour battery comes in weighing at a whopping 5 pounds, 11.7 ounces. Wow, that's not a light tool, okay? So, you know, that's where the numbers really are, okay? So let's go take a look at the performance ranking of these, okay? So the total performance number for the 2.5 amp hour battery comes in comes in at a score of 9.41 plus did not finish. How did we get the total performance number? We add up the sum of the 3 tests, right? Or sum of the averages of the 3 tests, you know, factoring in some variables and stuff like that. So that puts that one right at 16th place. It's the first place in the did not finish, right? Because it couldn't complete the 1/2 inch by 8-inch lag test, but it's right around 16th place, right behind the Bosch IDH 182, okay? So now moving on to the 6 amp hour battery test, stacked lithium. That total performance number comes out to 14.94 seconds. Bam! That puts this impact driver and this battery combination in first place, kicking off the Milwaukee Gen 3 Fuel 2853 with the 8 amp hour high output battery, which had a score of 19.09 seconds, okay? So the question everybody really wants to know is how much of a benefit do you get with a stacked lithium battery over just a higher capacity, you know, non-stacked lithium battery, right? 8 amp hours. So the total performance number for this 8 amp hour battery in this tool comes in at 16.81 seconds, all right? Bam, that puts this tool and this battery combination actually in second place, right behind the tool combination with the 6 amp hour battery. So now the leaderboard looks like first place the FLEX 24 volt 1371A with the 6 amp hour battery. Second place goes to the same tool with the 8 amp hour battery. And then the third place goes to the Milwaukee Gen 3 Fuel 2853 with the 8 amp hour high output battery, okay? And then, leaderboard continues on. We'll just throw it up on the screen. Y'all can look at it, right? So let's talk about the batteries and stuff here. Let's go. If you look at the numbers show, the 2.5 amp hour battery and the tool, Timberlock, let's say light duty test, 4.19 on average. And then with the 6 amp hour, 2.5 on average. And then with the 8 amp hour, 2.69 on average. So yes, this is a power hungry tool, even on light duty tests, okay? But the stacked lithium battery seems to be able to put out just a little bit more even on light duty tests to make that better. Moving on to the medium duty test. Average for the 2.5 comes out to 5.22 seconds, right? And then with the stacked lithium comes out to 2.10 seconds. And then with the 8 amp hour, comes in at 2.65 seconds. So yes, even on that case, the stacked lithium did put out more. But let's go take a look at the heavy duty lag test, right? So with the 2.5 amp hour battery, it just wasn't able to do it. It was just hammering away. It just couldn't get it to go all the way in, right? That's not really big of a surprise. There's not too many tools with a, let's say, a low amp hour battery that can do that. So if you look at the 6 amp hour stacked lithium test, 10.34 seconds, right? And then with the 8 amp hour, 11.47 seconds. So when the heavier duty applications come along where you just need, more tightening power or even more force applied, yes, the stacked lithium battery does give you a lot more performance, okay? But it's 2 amp hours less. The question is that really going to matter for you? You're going to have to figure that out, right? So let's close this out. What can we say about this tool? I'm going to tell you immediately, this is probably the first flex tool that I picked up and used, and as soon as the first couple times I used it, I was like, wow, you're just blown away. You just know immediately, just from the feel of it, that this thing is a beast. This thing is not, a child's toy. This thing means serious business, okay? That's one thing I just noticed immediately before we even did any of the reviews or any of these tests, right? This video is not sponsored. They did not send this to us. We did buy this tool and just, are using it, right? So that's what I really wanted to say about this. But like I said, immediately I was able to tell, wow, this is serious business, okay? So the tool itself is great. We haven't had it long enough to use it, let's say like 5-6 months or 10 months or a year, whatever, to figure out how long it's gonna hold up in the long-term durability. I would say it's gonna work out pretty fine. I don't think I've seen too many issues with it, right? Even on some of the tests that we've been doing so far, it seems to be pretty good. The variable speed trigger is very good. I don't think I showed you that before, but here, let's take a look at it. It's on right now, speed high, right? This is on, or mode 3. So there's a smidge, like microseconds of lag if you do that, but not a lot of people are, feathering the trigger like this on an impact driver, right? I mean, you could go slow and even go to like mode 1 and drill it down, but the control of this variable speed trigger is also really great. One of the things I'll tell you right now is it doesn't necessarily have the refined feeling like a Metabo or Makita tool does, but you can definitely tell it's refined for power. What I mean by that is it's not like raw power that you would feel like with the DeWalt impact driver, or maybe even a Milwaukee impact driver. You just feel like it has raw power, like unrefined power. This actually feels like it has refined power. That's one thing I did want to point out. So I know historically not all the flex tools have done really great on our reviews or whatnot, but I would say this one actually makes a really big difference, or at least changes my perspective, at least in terms of the tool's performance. Haven't had any issues with it yet. Like I said, haven't had it too long, but I can't imagine too many things, coming up with it. So the other thing to point out here is that this combination, if you buy it right now with this tool and this, I believe it's like, was like 30 bucks off or somewhere around like 280, right? It comes with a charger and a case, but roughly around 280. And with some of the promotion stuff going on right now, you could probably get like 20 bucks off or something like that. But let's just say it comes out to around 250-ish. You could probably get, $20 off coupon or whatnot and try to get it for a little bit less. But the point is that, you're gonna have to figure out, do you buy it this configuration, or do you buy it with, let's say, 2.5 amp hour batteries or 5 amp hour batteries, right? So obviously, if you buy it with a 2.5 amp hour battery configuration, even if you got two of these, it would still be less amp hours than one of these, right? You could probably buy it with 5 amp hour batteries, but I just don't have any 5 amp hour batteries to test it with. So the big thing here is that, you know, it outperforms in pure power than this 8 amp hour battery, but the 8 amp hour battery will get you longer probably throughout the day, I would assume, mainly going off of its performance numbers, because it has 2 more amp hours, right? You know, we're talking about, you know, even factoring in like margin of error here, we're talking about like seconds, okay? Sure, probably add up to a couple minutes, maybe even hours throughout the day if you're using it that much, but I'm only here to give you the numbers, right? So to answer the question, would I buy this tool? We did buy the tool. Would I buy it again? Yeah, I would probably buy this tool again. For me personally, I don't really care too much about battery ecosystems, that you probably already tell about all the tools and stuff that we reviewed in the channel. We're not like locked into like one or two. We're kind of just all over the place. But if you're locked into like one of those battery ecosystem, let's say the Milwaukee ecosystem, would you go out and buy this? If you use Impact Driver on a daily basis all the time, yeah, you could probably go buy this. But if you're just locked into one ecosystem, you probably don't need to, because like I said, the Milwaukee Gen 3 fuel, let's say, you know, is ranked 3 right now on our leaderboard, and it's just like a few seconds behind, right? To get into another battery platform for just like one tool to, you know, save you a few seconds or minutes throughout the day may or may not be worth it. You have to decide that, okay? So I'm only here to tell you numbers and show you the performance, and you can decide that. Other than that, that's all we can really say. Like I said, hope this video helped you guys out. Let the numbers speak for themselves. Go out there, do good work, and have a good day, and we'll see you guys next time.